And I was like, that's not how you make a frittata, Gordo.
Well, it didn't smell right.
What? Oh, anyway, hey, sorry, didn't see you there. I'm Internet's Alex Hunter, host and creator and writer of the acclaimed internet streaming digital series Attaché, the show that gets you in, out, and around some of the world's greatest cities.
And I'm Greg Barnes.
Almost after every episode, we get the question, what equipment do you use? And so instead of answering the same question over and over again, we thought that we would spend 30 seconds, or Greg will spend 30 seconds, because this is way above my pay grade, explaining the equipment that we use and how we do it. So we've actually changed, right, over the course of the series.
Yeah, we've upgraded. So we started with the GH4, which is a little handy DSLR, which does internal 4K, so it means we get nice amounts of information in the shot and we can edit it a lot in post. And it's also got lovely slow motion, so we still use it for that. And then we picked it up to the C100 Mark II, which is just a proper video camera. So you can put sound into it much easier. The radio mic goes right in. It's got an amazing shotgun mic. And it just makes life a hell of a lot easier for both of us.
Every episode until Paris was exclusively done on the GH4, which is pretty amazing, really.
It's very possible to do it, but it's a lot more of a ball ache. So yeah, we used to have to record sound into a separate audio recorder called a Zoom, and that was difficult because you had to take that everywhere with you, and then in post you had to sync that up separately, which adds an exponential amount of time to your edit. So this makes my life a lot easier. I've had half the amount of nosebleeds since using the C100.
And we did Paris and Mumbai on the big boy.
Yeah, that's the testing ground. We don't call it that.
But you still use the GH4 for B-roll, slow-mo, because it does what? It does a weird frame rate that's quite unique.
Yeah, it's got 96 frames per second, and honestly, I don't know why. Like, it's a very odd frame per second to have. Generally, cameras go up to like 50, 60, 100, 120, but they've chosen 96, and I think it has a really great look to it. It kind of gives a bit more drama to anything we're shooting. So, and it's super useful and light to use if you're using B-roll. I can just stalk around a city whilst Alex is doing something else and just shoot people really inconspicuously, rather than you take that and it looks like you're about to kill them.
Yeah, this is true. And we shot the Dubai episode exclusively on the GH4 just because we had a really limited amount of time. We didn't really want to draw a whole bunch of attention to ourselves with big cameras. So I really think it showed the versatility of that device.
I mean, it's certainly possible. It's just a lot more work.
Yeah.
But if you're prepared to do it, you're going to get great results. You just have to do maybe 30% more sort of toil over it. But yeah, it's really super useful if you're going into a country that might be a bit stricter with its filming rights, or if you're going into tight spaces. Really like.
And we should also mention that some of the B-roll in the Dubai episode and Mumbai were shot on iPhones.
Yeah.
The new iPhone 6s with the 4K and its image stabilization means that we can integrate it reasonably seamlessly, despite it being on a freaking phone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's been invaluable, particularly in Dubai, where we were running light on kit. Like, the shots, you wouldn't even know the difference sometimes. If you want a shot with a relatively high amount of information, you don't have to count on like a depth of field. The iPhone can do everything. It's ridiculous.
And we've used them for time-lapse, not so much for slow-mo because it just doesn't work nearly as well as the GH4, but the time-lapse feature is pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely found its way into a couple of edits.
Oh, one other thing. Hold on.
Osmo. The tiny mafioso.
Yeah, so this is pretty amazing. This is the DJI Osmo, and DJI primarily make drones, but this is their Steadicam, which just came out. It's the first time they've ever done it, but it's proven to be pretty incredible. You can obviously see that it's got a think it's a 3-axis gimbal, and it works unbelievably well. You control it. What you do is you attach your phone to it, and there's a Wi-Fi connection between the device and your phone, so you can see what you're shooting, change the mode. But it has, for the narcissists out there, a selfie mode, which is horrifying, but it works really, really well. It's great for when you're on vehicles. Some of our shots in the Dubai episode of going along the metro would have been impossible without this Steadicam. Walking through Old Town Dubai, we got some great shots.
Yeah, it just adds a lot of production value to have such a smooth tracking shot in there, in such a light, compact package.
Yeah, I mean, it's shooting 4K, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. It's great for time lapses because you can do a handheld. It's sentient. Some things happen. Anyway, you can do a handheld time lapse, so you can just hold it up there for as long as your arm can endure, and it will be absolutely perfect. So a really neat bit of ancillary kit.
It's great. I mean, we found it does everything really well, maybe aside from slow motion, which we're hoping they'll update, which still means the GH4 has a job. Yeah. But the minute they update slow motion on that, I don't know what this guy...
Yeah.
His time is limited.
I'm always a little wary of pulling this thing out, she said, because it does look quite threatening if you don't really know what it is. And I've had some interesting conversations at airport security that have turned positive very, very quickly because they figure out how it is. But yeah, it's a cool piece of kit, and it's like 500 pounds, which for a handheld Steadicam that shoots in 4K is pretty damn good, I think.
That's in cost. It's not that heavy.
Yeah, and you can control it from the phone. You can control it with the little joystick here. So yeah, pretty cool device. And then when you have all the footage, you edit in what software?
So I get all the footage together and I throw it directly into Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud, and that is a really great piece of software because there's no workflow beforehand. You don't have to convert your footage. It will take anything. There's 3 different formats we're working in here. Generally shoot in MP4 with the GH4, and then we have AVC HD on the C100, and I think QuickTime files or maybe MP4s again on the Osmo. So you're mixing it all together and it just takes it in its stride, which makes my life a hell of a lot easier and smoother. And there's even a plugin for that where you can sync the audio to the video if you do happen to have to record your audio separately. So if you're starting to do or already are doing larger projects that need a lot of workflow like this, Premiere's going to simplify it for you, and I could not work without it.
So there you go. That's how we do it. I will refuse to answer that question anymore. Don't ask it, because it will be greeted with a string of profanity.
Ask us real questions.
Yeah.